Okay, welcome everybody to this training. What we're going to be doing is basically we're going to be going over tags and labels today, and you can find that by going into Admin, Tools, and clicking on Tags and Labels. Now the tags and labels you're going to have, the default is only going to have two. It's going to be the default hang tag and then the default tear sheet. That tear sheet is basically going to be the sheet that's going to show when a customer wants to print out a item, just so that they can save it, and that is something that is fully customizable. Now, as you can see here on this video, we're going to have several different ones. You have landscape, portrait. What you can do is you can actually add tags by clicking this button right here, which is Add Tag. Super simple. Just click it. You'll put in the name. So for example, we're going to be doing an example tag. Then you can give it a description. What is this for? Whether it be for us today, it's going to be an example tag to show how to get this right, however you want to say that. And then you'll just click Add Tag. Now what you can do is put in here, what is this going to be for? Is this going to be for a company meeting? Is it going to be for an account that's going to be a business account? They're going to be coming into your showroom, and you can actually say this is going to be for this specific account. And then what you do is you can hit Add Tag. Now remember, you always have the blue buttons, and you can go through and you can see what this is. So we're going to hit Add Tag. Okay, so we're going to go down to our example tag here, and then we're going to click on it. What this is going to have is it's going to have a copy, a delete, an edit layout, and a print. Copy is basically going to be copying it, and then you can add a new tag and paste it. Delete, obviously, it's going to delete it. Edit the layout is what we're going to be looking into right now, and then where you can actually edit the layout, how this looks. It's completely customizable, and we'll see that here in a second. Print is printing it, and we'll get into that as well, going into if you have a different type of printer, how you can utilize that, and what you need to do in order to do that, how you can print specific attributes. Now, let's go into Edit Layout. And as of right now, there's nothing selected. As you can see, you have a copy from existing layout. As always, you have your blue button that is going to explain to you a little bit more about what we're going over today with the tags and labels. Now, with the tags and labels, you do need to select one, whether it be the XO standard. You have tons of presets that you can do yourself, which is going to be all of the ones that are on the outside other than your example tag. For now, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing the XO standard. The XO standard is going to be a standard 4 per page. Now this is representation of an 8x11 page that will go through a normal printer. If you have different ones, yes, you do have the Avery full size and usable area, as well as the address label. You also have the full page. These are the XO tag presets. Now, if you want to be using a different preset, let's say that you have a completely different type of printer, for example, a zebra printer that it utilizes a very small space and it's only about 1/3 of the size of this paper, you can mess around with these margins right here. So for example, if I get rid of that margin, it pushes it all the way up to the top. If I get rid of this, it pushes it all the way to the left. Horizontal, vertical, horizontal, vertical. But then let's say, okay, well, that's only for padding. If we want to actually change the width of how these look, we can change this right here. So this is going to be the width. So if I only want this to be 1, it's going to be very, very skinny. If we change the height to only be 1, it's going to be little. But we're going to revert that back to the saved. So we're going to go back to the XO standard, and it's going to give us our things. Now, let's say that, hey, I actually want this to be, that's a little bit too big for the hang tags that I want in my showroom. I actually want them to be, I'm going to put this at a 2.5, at a 2.5 as well. And then we're going to do one more column. So we're going to add a 3rd column, and then we're going to add 2 more columns, which it looks like we can't because of the margin, so we're going to change this back down to 2. and we're going to add one more column. So let's say that this is how big our hang tag is going to be, super simple. It's not going to have a picture of the fixture on it, and so we're going to do it this way. However, for this training, I'm going to go back to the XO standard so that you can have as much space here while we're looking at it. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit continue, and this does take a little bit of time. It does have to render. Okay, so now that we have this pulled up, you do have a scaling of 60%, custom fields, label fields, text fields, and image fields. Now what we're going to be doing for this training is we're going to be wanting to look at this a little bit more closely, so we're going to put this to about 90, let's go up to 100, just so that we can see that. Now as you can see, there is nothing on here. There are several things that you can put on here. We're going to go actually from the bottom upwards to the custom fields. The image fields are where you can put like a barcode, a QR code, a company logo, an item image, and a background. Now, most people don't ever use a background. The item image is basically just going to be your item image that you're going to have. Now, this is just an example item image that we have here. As you can see, you can move it anywhere within this box. If it goes outside of those lines, it actually says that it hides it. But let's say that we don't want it as large. We can go down over to here in this area. We can click on here and we can scale it to the size that we want it to be, whether it be small, whether it be large, however we want it. I'm not going to be using a company logo here. We don't have the company logo that we can do. But how you would do this is you would add the company logo, you would place it where you want, and then all the way down here at the bottom you can choose your file. That file is going to be your image. This will have to be saved onto your computer. You will just simply find it. So for example, if I want to go to my photos, and then you can go through and you can find your image of that, and then you can select it and put it on. As of right now, we're not going to be doing that because we do not have that logo saved onto this computer, and that's how you would upload it. Once you select that image, you would need to come to here to company, select image, you would select that image, and then it will show up in here. Now if it's a large file, you will have to scale it down significantly, but we're going to go ahead and hide that for today. QR code is basically making it so that when you scan this using a QR scanner on an iPad or a phone or a Microsoft Surface or anything like that, it will automatically pull that up on the XOLite's website. Now, this is very, very useful if you're doing quotes within the XOLite system, because what you can do is when you have a quote open and you're browsing for products and you're browsing around a showroom, what you can do is if you have this QR code and they say that they like that particular fixture, you can go up with your QR scanner, you can scan that in, and it automatically pulls it up on the back end of your website, and you just click it to the order and it's right there. Something that's really, really nice. Now I am going to keep this on here. So I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. I'm going to make it so that it's down here in the bottom left-hand corner. Now you do have an option of a barcode. The barcode is something that you can utilize, making it so that when a customer comes up to the cash register, you can pull that up. If you're integrated with WinWord, this is something that you can use that's very, very nice. However, with this training, we are not going to be using that. So that's what the barcode does. Let's go ahead and shrink the image fields, and now let's go ahead and go over to the text fields. Now the text fields, you have several different things. You have the item number, you have the internal item number, the item name, vendor, and all these different ones right here that you can go through when using this. Now the item number is going to be the actual item number. So if you're going to be selling the item in store and you don't want people to shop online at a different location, this is something that you won't want to be using. You'll be wanting to use the internal item number. So this internal item is a scrambled SKU, which will make it so that you can hide that and make it so that your customers can't shop anywhere else. I'm going to be using today the actual item number, and I'm going to make this a little bit smaller just so that I actually can fit on there. Some of these item numbers are a little bit large, so I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit bigger. Okay, so your internal item number, like I said, is the scrambled SKU. The item name is going to be exactly as it says. This is a Whitney RBZ mini chandelier in the rubbed bronze. So I am actually going to be moving this down a little bit, and then I'm going to put this right at the bottom of here, just so that it can really utilize space. Actually, I'm going to be putting it up over here as information goes. So again, as you can tell, this is very customizable. I'm sitting here wondering where I want to put this, how I want to put it. That's something that we can utilize here. So I'm going to make this image a little bit smaller. I'm going to move this a little bit over, make it a little bit larger so it actually is only on 2 rows. I'm going to put the item number right below it, make this a little bit down over here, because what we can do with the label fields is we can actually click on here and we can actually have this be the item number, which we'll put right here, and then we'll put this off to the side. So again, this is a completely customizable thing that you can utilize in the XOLite system. So this is just something that I'm creating. So let's go ahead and move on to the next text field that we want. So this is going to be a vendor. The vendor is completely optional. A lot of showrooms actually do utilize this, judging that they are in store. I'm also going to go into the label field, and I'm going to do a vendor here. Make that a little bit smaller. Awesome. So you have your vendor, your item number, you have the name, which I'm going to be putting up over here. Actually, I'm not going to be putting it up over there. I'm going to be putting it down below. Make this a little bit larger like this. Let's go back over into our label fields, and I'm going to be putting on the item name field. So now I'm going to go back to the text field. And sometimes people want to know about the description. Now the description can get very lengthy. So I'm going to be putting it over here on the right-hand side. And make this a little bit smaller, and then I'm going to make it so it goes all the way down right here so that people have a description of what they're buying. Now as you can see, this is starting to get a little bit cluttered. Again, for this one, this is going to be completely up to you. I'm going to go ahead and do a price here, and I'm going to be putting the price down right over here, and I'm going to make this actually quite large. Now what you can do with each of these fields is you can change the font type. You can change the size of the font, which I'm going to be changing the font size of this one, and I'm going to be making this quite a bit larger. Let's go ahead and do a 54. That's a little bit too large, so let's go ahead and go back down to 32. Center this a little bit. And then I'm actually going to be putting our price on here. So let's go ahead and put the price down over here. And this is obviously going to be your largest thing so that people can see that right quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and do 72, which is actually quite too big. So let's go ahead and go back down to 60, a little bit large. Actually, no, it's not. I'm going to go ahead and move this a little bit over. Let's go ahead and move my QR code up a little bit. No, I actually do want it there. I'm going to go ahead and move the price right here. So now that we have our price, that's going to be your most important, hence it's going to be the largest thing. It draws your attention right there. Now one thing that is quite important about the price is you do have a red line right here. So for example, if you're doing a promotion, so I'm actually going to be putting this up over here, because if we're going to be running a promotion, that is going to be an option that you can have for this field. So if I go ahead and click this right here, notice that it is slicing that out, and it is actually showing the new price. Now because this is so large, it actually maybe isn't the best idea to do that. However, I am going to place this down right here, but that is an option. Again, that's under text fields and price and the red line option. Now you have a hang tag. This hang tag can have other things on here. Sockets, dimensions, diameter, extension, room labels, order number, notes, shipping address, a whole bunch of different things that you can do. And then you can actually do custom fields. So for example, if you want your email on there or your contact information, you actually have the option to do that. So now that we have this done, I'm going to go ahead and hit Save, Close. We're going to go ahead and hit Print. Now printing, basically what this is going to do for you is if you're going to want to do all of the items within your showroom, you're going to need to provide us with an Excel spreadsheet. Now that is something that is on a later training that we can do. If you have questions, go ahead and give client services a call and we can help you understand how you can do that spreadsheet of every item within your showroom. Now let's go ahead and get back to this. Let's say that we're going to be doing a certain category. Now we do have fans here. Now this is going to be a very large file. Once this loads, it's going to be several pages that we can do. Now this is where we actually do say that we want to do an item attribute of all of the items within your showroom. So let's say that this is going to be a showroom. As you can see, this is only 4 items with 1. You can choose which account pricing that you want to be doing here. As you can see on this one, this is going to be quite a few. For you, utilizing this is going to be your tiers that you have done within the tier markups on your system. Recent changes, basically what this is going to be doing is, for example, if you're going to be doing all of the brands on one thing, basically what that will do is that will only do pricing of that item has been updated, or if it's a brand new item that has been put into our system on an XO maintained vendor. Or if you don't want to do that, you can do individual item numbers. So you can type that in, whether that be a Kitchler item number or any other item number. But let's actually go ahead and put that back in. Now let's say that we want more than one. We would put a comma here, and then we would type in yet another fixture. You'd come over here, you would do get items. As you can see, that's not an actual item. Basically, you would put item number, comma, space, item number, comma, space, and so on and so forth. That is mainly the main reason as to why the item attribute is so important. We're going to go ahead and click on that again. Now, you can do a solid border, you can do a dash border. If we go ahead and look at this, you can hit print and preview and see what that's going to look like. Now that's actually looking pretty nice. You can buy sleeves and utilize the sleeves. You have your vendor, your item name, your price. That's looking really good. And so what we can do is we can go ahead and hit print, which I'm not going to at this time. And then you can print those out. If it's going to be more than one page, it will simply just print page after page after page after page. And that will be how we do tags and labels for your showroom. Now again, like I said before, we're going to go ahead and go back into this layout. I'm going to go ahead and do a full page, because remember how I stated at the very beginning of this training, what you can do with the tags and labels is you can set your own tear sheet. Now this is what the customer is going to be printing out if they're looking at a fixture online and they say, hey, I want to utilize and remember this fixture and I want to print it out so that I can go over this with my significant other or whatever it may be. So again, you do a full page and you can continue and you can utilize this space in here, what you want it to look like, how that's going to be. Now again, where that's going to be so that you can see that is if I click on one of these and I actually go into it, and as a customer I'm looking into it, you have this print button right here. So when I print that, as you can see, it's actually not looking very good right now because we have the wrong one selected. But that is completely customizable. If you want it to be with the correct one, that is something else that we here at Client Support can help you out utilizing. However, for this training, we're not going to be going over that. But that is your tags and labels. That's going to be how you can customize them, how you can print them, and how you can utilize the space within them, and some of the tips and tricks that you can use and utilize within the tags and labels. Thanks for watching today, and hopefully if you have questions, again, contact us at Client Support. Hope you have a great day.